What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. In this video, I want to talk about a February teaser for Batman Arkham 2020. Now, this is purely speculative. This is purely just me kind of going off and having a discussion basically about when is the next time we should be expecting a teaser for this game, okay? Is February that month? That is all I want to talk about, okay? So for those that are going to hate, I guess, they'll always do that, but I am not, this is not some sort of hype video. This is me just kind of talking and asking your guys' opinions as well, as I always do. So we've entered a new month. We've entered past 4 weeks of in between, I should say, teasers for Batman. So we had the one Batman teaser back early in January. It's been now almost 5 weeks. So it'll be 5 weeks on Thursday since that, and we obviously have nothing. Now, last week, we did get the rumors, or we did get the leaks, I should say, of this new game, of Arkham 2020, that is officially, officially by the leak, right? Fall of 2020, it's current gen, which is a thing you should probably note, having, obviously, the Bat family, all this kind of stuff, starting off the DC universe, all that. So, and I had a lot of fun discussions with you guys based off that kind of stuff, and I definitely want to continue. Got a lot of different videos planned for later this week and into next week as well. I just want to take this moment to say, all right, now we're halfway through February, so should we expect a teaser? To be quite honest with you, and I always am. Now, am I always right? Absolutely not. I'm wrong quite often when I'm talking about these kind of predictions, but at the same time, I have been actually pretty accurate for farther out kind of predictions, such as the fall of 2020 or what it's doing with current and next gen things, just to kind of, just to say that for the people that say that I'm wrong about everything or all I do is hype people up. I truly do think February could be a month for Batman. And by month, I mean teaser. I mean just another couple images. The problem we have is, and I've been unable to do the cryptic, calibration of these teasers. What I want to know, and I do want you guys to tell me this in the comments as well, has anybody been able to figure out like a systematic, like a mathematical thing for when we're getting these teasers based off of the last two? Because I know somebody reached out to me on Twitter and said they did some sort of calculation and they got it to be where we get the full announcement on June 9th of 2020. So again, that's just a personal thing I'd like to see. If anybody has figured it out, let me know. If there's some sort of mathematical thing that Warner Bros. Montreal is doing with these teasers, let me know. But from what I can tell, there are still a couple I think three, right? I'd say three major groups of pictures that we still, as of yet, we don't have. And I guess if you were to go February, March, April, that would still only get you through April. And then what do you do for May? And then do you announce it in June? And again, it's all assuming that June is the month too. And again, right? Going back to last year, or even going back about a month ago, I said, for the love of God, this cannot be an E3 game. And that could ultimately be the prediction I'm the most wrong about, right? I said that my prediction was we would get the announcement of this game before E3. Technically, if it's majorly leaked, or they say hey, we are making a Batman game, but you'll see it at E3. If they do that, then I will actually be officially correct on that prediction. But it's still all assuming that E3 will ultimately be that time. Now, the fact that the rumors are it's coming out in the fall, it still all holds up, right? Warner Bros. Over the past couple of years got that 3 to 5 month window. So they even announced Mortal Kombat, and they announced it, and then it released 4 months later, right? Actually, 3.5 months later. So very, very possible it gets announced early June, and then it comes out late October. I think that's very, very likely. However, again, you got to build up to it. And for as long as these images are still yet to be revealed, right, they can't do anything else. And I know we keep saying, they can't possibly do this. They can't, all those kind of things. But in this way, I think it is very reasonable to say, hey, they seem to very much be on a systematic approach of, we're going to just do teasers. We're going to just do images. And when all of the images are filled out, then we'll do something. It really does feel like that's what's happening. Now, I know some people also went the 3-2-1 month method, but that still also doesn't work, right? Because you got from January, so February, March, April, and then May, June, and then July. So, nothing that I could, the most basics, right? Or even cutting them in half, I guess you could say, right? So if it went 4 months, and then it goes 2 months, right? So February, March. So if early March is it, and then April is it, but that is only 2 sets of images, not 3. So I really, I don't know if Warner Bros. Montreal themselves has even thought this out very hard. And again, for those that say like this has been the plan all along, I truly, I mean for the life of me, I truly can't imagine that this has been the plan all along. I feel like there has been internal delays. There's no way that this has been part of some elaborate plan that we're going to tease it once and then tease it 4 months later and now tease it whenever. But to be quite honest with you, again, I really do feel like you gotta give I guess you don't. You absolutely don't, but I feel like you gotta give us something in February, because now we're halfway through at this point, right? So we're going into February. Next month is March. Eventually we're going to get that PS5 reveal, and look, that we're all going to probably know that there is nothing Batman related coming to that, even if they do tease it one more time. Like, say they tease it this month, and then the PS5 reveal event is next month. I still don't think they're ready to do it, right? Unless they start doing it weekly or bi-weekly or something like that, they would really have to start shortening the amount of times in between these teasers before it actually comes out. So I think February could very, very well be the month. I feel like it would have to be, I don't know, next week, the week after. I mean, obviously, there's only 2 weeks left after this week of February, so they're definitely running out of time, but I don't know. It's just getting to the point where, look, last week we did actually get something, so I guess I can't be too disappointed, right? So we got the teaser back in January, and then we had a couple weeks of everybody like being on that high, and we all talked about like, hey, at the very least, we can all be at least happy that we still know it's coming. But then, obviously just dies down. I don't think people think that the game doesn't exist anymore, but, just the talk about it dies down. And then all of a sudden, last week, bombshell, right? Like everybody, it's on comicbook.com, all this kind of stuff. Like, this is major, major stuff. So I guess that's good. And normally I would say, hey, you got to get out ahead of this. You got to get out in front. And I have said this in the past, right? You got to get out ahead of this stuff to kind of say, like, hey, and again, like BioShock, I always go back to Take-Two because I think they're a fantastic example of BioShock. There was all the talk of the BioShock game. Even Jason Schreier talked about it years ago. Now, you could say it took years in between when Jason Schreier said, like, hey, there's a secret studio working on a BioShock game, and then Take-Two finally says, hey, we're making a BioShock game. And they didn't even say it right after there was like this huge, like everybody was talking about a new BioShock game, right? So it's not exactly the same, but I always would like to think that, hey, you're Warner Bros. Montreal, and eventually, after all of these leaks, now the difference is, there's the leaks by like Sabi or Sabi, however you say the person's name. There's like leaks like that like they could very well be true, and oftentimes those people are telling the truth, right? And they are right, but they're like smaller. Not everybody, they have a couple thousand likes or even less, and they have even a couple thousand followers, and that's it. But there's not a lot that really gets picked up from it. But then you have the leak like last week, right, where it's bombshell again. Everybody's talking about it, and if you have a couple of those, I'd like to think that you as a company would come out and say, all right, we are working on a game. And that's always been the basic thing that I've argued, right, is just say you're working on it and then go away. And just say you're working on it, say, we'll be back in a little while to talk about it, and that's it. At this point, it seems painfully obvious that they are working on a game. It's just, okay, eventually they're going to get around to actually, formally announcing it. But although we got those leaks, again, it's the middle of February, and it's like, okay, at some point, like this month or I guess early next month, you should probably give us another set of images. Because again, unless you really start shortening things, are we 1,000% sure E3 is the time? Are we 1,000% sure this game is coming out in the fall of 2020? Because I know there's a lot of people out there that have said maybe they're lining it up with the Batman movie and the summer of 2021, stuff like that. I really don't think that's going to happen, but the longer these teasers, the longer these images aren't revealed to us, basically, the less certain I think we can be that E3 actually is. If it's past E3, guys, I mean, oh my God, come on, we got to do something about Warner Bros. Montreal. But let me know, again, in the comments below. Again, this was kind of just off the top of my head kind of thing. I want to know mainly if, again, anybody has figured out the approach they're taking with these teasers. Is there an actual pattern? Can you like actually formulate where it's going to get us to a June of 2020 full-on announcement? So if you guys have that answer, let me know in the comments below. Later on this week, I want to have some different fun videos. I've been playing a lot of Spider-Man on the PS4 recently, and I have a really fun video idea I want to try out talking about the two, unlike any other Spider-Man, Batman ones I've done in the past. So I want to try that one, and also we'll get back to talking about this DC extended universe, all that kind of stuff. There are still lots of stuff to talk about regarding those leaks last week, and I want to get, I want to get through them as these weeks progress. And obviously, like I say in every single video, if there's something big, something groundbreaking when it comes to Batman, I'll obviously cover it, on that minute, right? So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you all on the next video.